It's my channel. Today I'll be continuing What If Tsunade and Jiraiya Raised Naruto. I definitely just said their names backwards. Anyway, leave a like on the video. Yeah, and I hope y'all are enjoying y'all summers for those of y'all that are having summer. Anyway, yeah. So we open this part with Naruto, Tsunade, and Jiraiya and Karin all waking up early so they can start heading to Danzo's little hideout area. So when they get to like the little area, they see that there's a few more people waiting for them that Hiruzen also cleared to go in there just to see if they could come out of there with, any valuable weapons or something like that. So there's like people there with bags and stuff. And Jiraiya kind of laughs and he's like, it's kind of like this is our own little exposition type mission. And Tsunade looks at him and was like, that's exactly what this is. He's just masking it as training. And Naruto looks at him and was like, I don't really care so long as I get to do something. And Naruto starts walking in and everybody's telling him to wait, but he's not stopping. So everybody just starts like chasing him. And when they finally catch up to Naruto, they see that Naruto has gotten to the point where everything starts to split off. And they see like there's markings, like there's stuff saying where stuff is. So they see like this is like the little training area. So they go there and they start seeing a whole bunch of weapons and stuff. And Naruto tells them like, yo, this is where we're going to stop, or where I'm going to stop because I got to start training. And like Jiraiya tells him like, we're not going to explore the rest of the areas first. And Naruto was like, why would we? We came here for this. And before like Naruto could like begin to even start trying to practice anything, they ended up getting attacked by like three Anbu Black Ops members that were aware of Danzo's disappearance, but wasn't aware that they knew where this hideout was located. So when Naruto got the shuriken thrown at him, they threw one at him, Jiraiya, and one at Karin instead of Tsunade, which was strange. But not Naruto, but some of the other Shinobi and Karin, they ended up blocking them. So when the Black Ops members reveal themselves, they tell them like they're not welcome here, they should leave. And Jiraiya tells them like, no, you should, because this is Leaf territory, and this was built on Leaf territory. And one of the Black Ops members tells him like, although this is built on Leaf territory, this is all Anbu Black Ops, like materials and junk. Like the Leaf Village has no say over what goes on in here. And Naruto smirks and he's like, that's the case, huh? And the Anbu Black Ops member tells him, like, he looks down and he realizes like who these people are. And he's like, oh, this ain't good. And Naruto, he was like, well, I'm glad the Leaf Village rules don't apply here. Right? Right. So Naruto begins to he starts fighting. Like they just all start fighting at this time. And I'm gonna say after a few minutes, two of the Anbu members ended up escaping. Two out of the three that were there ended up escaping. But one of them was like injured, like really bad, due to Tsunade breaking his leg. Anyway, so after they deal with those Anbu members, they ended up finding a whole bunch of other things in a room full of materials and junk that would help the Leaf Village or help other people. So they start getting people in there to move some of the stuff out. And as they're doing that, Naruto, Tsunade, and Jiraiya and Karin are all starting to train. And eventually Tsunade was able to punch Naruto hard enough to get him to get angry enough to let the Nine Tails to start giving him more chakra. And Naruto tried to see how far he could fight Tsunade before the Nine Tails felt like he had to fight Tsunade. So Naruto, with all the will within his body, was able to get up to, I'm gonna say, the third tail and somewhat to the fourth. And when Naruto started to lose himself as he was transforming into the fourth, not transforming, but forming his fourth tail, Jiraiya and Tsunade. And at some point, I'm gonna say Karin ended up learning how to use her chakra chain. So even Karin learns, how to restrain Naruto. So she grabs Naruto, So they ended up pinning him to the ground, and saving him from a life of imprisonment due to the Nine Tails. Yeah. Anyway, so after Naruto's initial lashing out at Tsunade somewhat, um they ended up figuring out that Naruto can go up to the third tail, so they start training Naruto in nothing but the third tail. So Tsunade and Jiraiya tend to go somewhat easier because they know if they push Naruto past a certain point, since the seal on his stomach is somewhat weaker, the Nine Tails could take Naruto's body. Naruto doesn't have to get to a point of rage. The Nine Tails could just feel like, hey, yo, it's my turn to fight. So, yeah, he just has to be pushed to that level. So they start training him, and after I'm gonna say they spent like 2 or 3 weeks in there, Hiruzen ended up like figuring out like, okay, all the stuff in that one has been somewhat moved. And Jiraiya and Tsunade and Naruto, as they're doing like their little last like little reconnaissance of it, they ended up finding like a whole nother like little area that breaks off into more like little tunnels and junk. And Jiraiya and Tsunade start thinking like that's where those other two could have went. And they see like the small like little blood trail dripping off into one. And Naruto, he's like, this isn't, maybe we should go report this back to Hiruzen. And Naruto, after saying that, he looks at Danzo, not Danzo, he looks at Jiraiya, and Jiraiya was like, you starting to sound more and more like a Leaf Shinobi. And Naruto tells him like, I kind of have to. So they start heading back toward the entrance. And when they leave, everybody can kind of tell somewhat that they've all somewhat gotten stronger. And like when they get to Hiruzen's office, Hiruzen tells them like, on your next expedition, before they can tell Hiruzen what they found, he tells them of another location that they, thinks Danzo could be hiding out, or, some more Abo members could be hiding out. But the resources is what they're for. And Jiraiya, like, he kind of starts thinking about it, and he's like, what do we need all these resources for? Like, the first one that we, like, took control over had enough resources to almost fund an entire small, like, in another small village. We could, and Tsunade and Naruto look at each other and was like, that's what you're planning on doing, isn't it? And Hiruzen tells him, like, if on the off chance that the Leaf Village, gets attacked, it'd be better to have smaller, fortified locations outside the Leaf Village. And Hiruzen, like, Jiraiya asks him, like, what are you planning for? And he's like, no, it's Danzo. And Naruto was like, what happened? And they say, like, Hiruzen pulls something out the drawer of his cabinet, and he tells the other people in the room, like, to give him the room. And everybody except for Tsunade and Jiraiya leaves. So he opens up this little plan thing, and they see like it's a whole like map to basically invade the Leaf Village. And the things that they are walking into, like Hiruzen already knew the other cavern was back into that one. He was expecting them to find that, because that was a route for them to get troops back to the Leaf Village for their invasion later on. Basically, Danzo didn't want this outcome, but he had a plan for it. So, like, Jiraiya tells him, like, so what are we supposed to do? And Hiruzen tells him, like, don't say anything. Just train Naruto. That's the best thing you can't do. And just hope that our Shinobi can make the cut. And Tsunade tells him, like, why not start a new training program for the Shinobi that are already in this, like, in the system. Like, not in the system, but like in the ranks or whatever. And like Hiruzen like asks her who would exactly run this new training program. And Jiraiya just starts naming off people like Kakashi, Mike Guy, a few others. I don't know. Those are the only two that I really, off the top of my head. I haven't watched Naruto in forever, so yeah. So Jiraiya tells him like he'll see what he can do, because they do got new resources and ain't nothing to it but to do it. So Jiraiya, like, they leave, and Naruto kind of like he's trying to figure out what was going on in the room, and Jiraiya hasn't said anything, but he tells Naruto that they're gonna have a whole lot of training like to do. And Naruto, he's like, well, I know that, but like, what were y'all talking about in the Hokage's office? And Tsunade gets kind of mad as she punches him in the head and like, just don't worry about that. Just know that you need to train. And Naruto was like, oh, so, and Jiraiya tells Naruto not to say anything. Just know that they need him to train. And they also need, and they turn to like, they turn to Kari and they look at her and they're like, yo, you gotta train too. Because technically speaking, Kari, if anything, could be just about as strong as Naruto, if not stronger, when Naruto's not using, the Nine Tails. On the off chance that Naruto actually trains his base form. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. So they go back into the one that they've already somewhat discovered, and they have guards kind of like staying around. They have Anbu member rank guards standing around the thing that they haven't explored yet. And they, like, Naruto and them are training in there, and they ended up seeing, like, Sasuke, like, just walk in, and he's like, it's not that hard to find y'all when Naruto's, just flaring up with Nine Tails energy every once in a while. Any Shinobi that knows Naruto's power, could basically tell him from a mile away, no matter what you're underneath. And Sasuke, like, kind of walks over to Jiraiya and tells him, like, so you just wasn't planning on telling me? Hold on. My bad. I was saying Sasuke. I meant to say Kakashi. That's what I meant to say. Not Sasuke. Not at this present moment in time. I was going to say Kakashi. I keep messing those names up. So, I know. How can I mess those names up? Don't worry about it. Anyway, so Jiraiya looks at Kakashi and he tells him, like, you're supposed to be doing, and he's like, yeah, I know, some training program. They also sent us here. And Naruto was like, so where are we supposed to train? And Kakashi kind of looks like in the direction of where the other entrance to the other places are. And Naruto was like, you're kidding me. He's making me train by exploring. And Naruto was like, oh, so we don't get a training ground. We just explore and kick butt, I guess. And Jiraiya was like, well, it's better than nothing. So this is where I'm going to end this part off. If y'all enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi. Peace.